Casting thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved. Psalms 55 and 22. I want to talk about casting. Casting thy burden to God. And younger self, this involves surrendering your worries, anxieties, and troubles to Him, trusting that God will take care of them and provide you with peace and comfort. Now, the word casting in this context means to throw or to release something with force or intent. When you cast your burdens to God, you are actively relinquishing control and placing your faith in His ability to handle your concerns. An excellent biblical example of casting their burdens to God is the story of Hannah. If you look at the book of 1 Samuel, Hannah was barren. She was deeply distressed because she longed for a child. In her anguish, she poured out her heart to God in prayer, laying her burdens before Him and expressing her heartfelt desire. Through her earnest prayer, she cast every burden unto God, trusting in His faithfulness, and eventually God answered her prayer, and she conceived and gave birth to a son. His name was Samuel, and she dedicated Samuel to the Lord. I want you to take a look at that story and just examine what Hannah did when she was going through her burden. She acknowledged the burden that she was going through. And it's important that you recognize and identify the specific worries, anxieties, or troubles that are weighing on your heart and on your mind. Take time to go before God with your burdens in prayer. Pour out your heart to God, expressing your concerns and honesty to Him openly. And then remind yourself of God's promises in the scriptures, such as Psalms 55 and 22. He said to cast your burdens to the Lord, and He will sustain you. Trust in these promises. A famous quote I wanted to share from Corrie ten Boom. She was a Dutch Christian who survived the Holocaust. She says, "Any concerns too small to be turned into a prayer is too small to be made into a burden." This quote emphasizes the power of prayer in releasing your burdens to God, no matter how trivial or insignificant they may seem. By turning every concern into a prayer, we acknowledge God's sovereignty and invite His intervention into our lives. So I want you to let go and let God. Release any lingering doubt or fears and rest in the assurance that God hears your prayers and is actively working on your behalf. Surrender your burdens to Him and trust in His perfect timing and provision. Continue to be excellent in all that you do, and you go out and make a difference in someone else's life.